Hello and welcome to Bio 101. My name is Ben Bramwell. I will be your instructor for this class. Most of you, if not all of you, are enrolled in Bio 100 as well, so you've already seen that introduction and know who I am. But if any of you have not, I'm an associate professor of biology here at Asbury University, and I teach a number of biology classes, including this class in an in-seat version. We just finished this class a couple weeks ago. So this is an online version of the class that you could take in the classroom, and it's a little bit different. So for the online version, we partner with a company called Late Night Labs. Late Night Labs produces animated labs that can be completed online for universities, and the universities have the freedom to modify those to suit their purposes. So that's what you're signing up for this semester. A lab that's produced by Late Night Labs, modified by us, to as best we can replicate what you would get in an in-seat version of this particular lab. So that brings us to a couple things that I want to say tonight. One is that in order to complete this lab and this lab class, then you have to purchase a subscription to Late Night Labs. That can be done by going to our Discovery page, downloading or opening a PDF that I have posted there that has step-by-step instructions on how to do that. It does cost $59.95 for the whole semester, the 8-week semester. Now, if it makes you feel better, that's less than the $90 lab fee that students pay that take the in-class version of this. We have to pay for the frogs and the chemicals and the plants and so forth, the bacteria that are used in class, and so that's what that goes for. And this particular version doesn't have all that, but it does cost something to use this service. It is very important that you remember that we have a section code. Our section code is 934-13030. This can be found on the syllabus, and you have to have this in order to sign up for Late Night Labs and be put into the correct section. So once you do that, I'll see your name on the grade book. So I recommend that you go ahead and do that at your earliest convenience. It's a good class, I think. Students have seemed to rate it fairly favorably. Remember, it's a fairly time-consuming class. If you are in the in-class version of this, you're in lab for 16 weeks for 2.5 hours. So on the online version, then we have an 8-week semester, and so we're in class for about 5 hours per week is the goal. Some of the labs will take less time, some more time, but hopefully it'll average out to about that. So it is fairly time-consuming, but that's to be expected with a compact semester lab class. In the sciences, when you take a 1-hour lab, then you spend more than just 1 hour a week in the lab, as is the tradition in academia. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to learn during the course of this class. Now, this class it's not essential that you're enrolled at the same time in the lecture, Bio 100 lecture, but it is helpful, and most of you are, so that'll be good. So during the course of our class, we will get an understanding of the scientific method, and that's a goal for our lecture as well. We will learn some laboratory skills, and so you won't get to actually do that with your physically in person, but you do at least learn the same information in manipulating things in a virtual fashion. We'll talk about the difference between science and technology, and some applications of both science and technology. And then we'll talk about some concepts that are going to be reinforced. We'll hopefully reinforce concepts that you're learning in lecture. Things related to cell biology, evolution, genetics, ecology, photosynthesis. The big concepts that we learn in lecture hopefully are emphasized here in this lab class. So how does it work? Well, let's scroll on down through here the syllabus and talk about things. What we'll see is that the labs are going to open. Well, let's not do that yet. Let's talk about the overall makeup of the entire semester. So we have an 8-week semester, and every week except the last week, we have 2 labs per week. For instance, this first week, which begins today, May 18th, we have lab number 1, which is the scientific method, and lab number 2, which is biological molecules. Both of those labs pertain directly to the chapters that are covered in lecture in this first week. Now, there are 3 things to do with every lab, and to explain those, we should go back up to the grading and see where your grade comes from. So the 3 things that you're graded on with every lab are these. There are some short answer questions that are associated with each lab. So this is the equivalent of your lab report. If you were in class, you'd be filling out a lab report each week. You're not, so these short answer questions are as close as possible. They're very similar to what you would fill out and turn in to be graded if you're actually in the lab. The next thing that you have are some multiple choice questions that are on the Late Night Labs website associated with the labs. And so this is not your official lab quiz, but it is some questions that cover the lab and that will help you prepare for the quiz. The last thing that we have is an actual lab quiz. And so this lab quiz is closed book. The multiple choice questions are not closed book. You can look back at your lab as you take the multiple choice questions, certainly as you answer the short answer questions. But the lab quiz is closed book, and the lab quiz will be found back on our Discovery page. So you are accessing 2 websites to take this lab. One is the Late Night Labs website, and one is our Discovery page. So it's relatively simple. If we look at the overall picture, we have 2 labs per week. Each of them have a similar setup. In some cases, I'll have a little additional lecture associated with the lab. In many cases, I don't. It's just not necessary. It's covered thoroughly in lecture. If you're not in lecture, then I can make those videos available to you if you're interested, or you can use outside resources as well. But that is the goal of any lab, I believe, to reinforce what's learned in lecture. So there's not a separate lecture for each topic in the lab itself. All right, is there anything else we need to cover? The grading is just like the lecture grading. It's the Asbury University standard scale that we use here in the natural sciences. And I believe that pretty thoroughly covers what's going to happen in the lab. Please let me know if you have questions. I encourage you to go ahead and sign up for Late Night Labs. Make sure that goes smoothly. And then, of course, I am your reference for all questions as we go through this particular lab. I think things will go smoothly, and I look forward to working with you during the semester. Please let me know if you have questions.